welcome back to Women's Football Talk, the YouTube channel that brings you all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football. We've just finished our WSL fixtures for the weekend, and there were some cracking games and some good results up and down the WSL. But before we do get onto that, there's some other news around the world of football. So Manchester City confirmed the signing of Abidal Kemper from North Carolina Courage on a 2.5-year deal on Saturday. She becomes the third US women's national team member to join the side after Sam Mewis and Rose Lavelle joined earlier on in this season. Birmingham City confirmed the signings of Russia Littlejohn and Emily Murphy on loan from Chelsea as well on Saturday. So good news there for Carla Ward's side as they look to progress on in this season. And a bit of good news to see over in Spain. Atletico Madrid women, they won the Spanish Cup on Saturday against Levante 3-0, and the touching bit of that game was to see Virginia Torresia, who's been battling with a brain tumour and going under treatment for the past 6 to 10 months now. She was able to lift the trophy with the team on Saturday, so that was very good to see for her, and hopefully she continues to make a full recovery and be back on the pitch soon. Right, into WSL fixtures now. Man City played Aston Villa in the early kickoff at the Academy Stadium, and they won 7-0. 6 first half goals. Lauren Hemp scoring a brace, Georgia Stanway, Jill Scott, Ellen White and a Natalie Haig own goal sealed the 3 points before the game was even done, before we got to half time for Gareth Taylor's side, who were without Gareth Taylor as he is self-isolating, and a few other stars from that Manchester City team were missing. And then a goal 10 minutes from time for Chloe Kelly made it 7-0. Easy first half for Man City. They absolutely dominated the game, and then the second half they just didn't really put any pressure on Villa, as they knew they had the 3 points sealed up, and it made it easy. Disappointing obviously for Aston Villa and Gemma Davies' side, though. Some good news for Villa. They got to see Olivia McLaughlin, a young 16-year-old, come on and make her debut, as well as Mana Iwabuchi make her first appearance for Aston Villa in the WSL this season. Next up, saw Everton play Bristol City at Walton Hall Park, and it was the Toffees that won 4-0. 2 goals from Isabel Christensen and a Simone McGill and Megan Finnegan goal saw the Willie Kirk side win 4-0. Again, comfortable result in terms of the outcome for Everton. It wasn't as easy as it might seem, but they got the job done, and standout performance from Izzy Christensen, as she also got an assist for one of the goals as well, so definitely a good overall performance there. Next up was Birmingham versus Brighton. Played a 0-0 game at the SportsNation.bet Stadium. Not a lot of chances for either side. Clear-cut chances for either side. Brighton obviously dominated in terms of possession and getting chances, but they just couldn't find a way past Hannah Hampton in goal for Birmingham City, and so the points were shared there. Again, Birmingham City, I would say, are happy out the two sides, but after playing 2 games less, but obviously Brighton will want to get back to winning ways. Then at the Madejski Stadium, Reading played Arsenal in a game that finished 1-1. Lauren Bruton scored at the early goal for Reading after 5 minutes, after a free kick on the left hand side was from Emma Mitchell was headed in by Bruton. And then 5 minutes before the half-time whistle, Vivian Miedemar equalised for Arsenal. Gotta say, really poor performance from Arsenal throughout the whole game. Defensively, they were making so many silly mistakes between Manuel Zinsberger and then the defence in the first half of Anna Patten and Lottie Wubben-Moy, and then even in the second half, Leah Williamson and Jennifer Beattie were also making mistakes, as well as Zinsberger, and Arsenal never really looked comfortable. Where Reading, again, you got to say it was a standout performance. They were unlucky to go in the break on level, and you got to say very unlucky not to get a win there, because they definitely played the better of the two sides. Then the big game of the weekend saw Chelsea playing Manchester United at Kingsmeadow Park, and it was Emma Hayes' side that won 2-1 thanks to a Pernilla Harder and Fran Kirby goal. Harder scored after 30 minutes. That goal came in from there was initially a corner for Chelsea, and then they had a number of chances to score, but they couldn't, and the ball then fell to Harder, who managed to slot it past the United defence. Lauren James then scored for Manchester United just after the hour mark, after a lovely link-up play between herself and Ella Toone, and the youngster managed to slot it past Anna-Catherine Berger in goal for Chelsea. And then 4 minutes after that, Fran Kirby put Chelsea back ahead after, again, a long ball up from Anna-Catherine Berger, who managed to find Fran Kirby. A mistake between both Millie and Amy Turner in defence, and Kirby was able to latch onto it and send it past Mary Earps in the goal. So that result sees Chelsea leapfrog Manchester United to go top of the table. They're still 11 on points, but they have a better goal difference and have played a game less. We're going to send our thoughts and prayers out to Reading defender excuse me, Christine Liner, because she suffered a horrible injury towards the end of the game for Arsenal, for Reading, sorry, and there has been no word from the Reading team as to what that injury is yet, as it's way too early to say what it is, but it was definitely a very nasty injury. From initial prognosis, I would say, though I'm no medical doctor, from what I saw and how she went down, it seemed like she could it's some sort of knee damage, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was turned out to be a torn ACL, because you heard a loud scream from her when she went down, so it wouldn't surprise me if that is the outcome of the injury. Hopefully it's not, and that's the worst case scenario, and she can able to make a full recovery as quickly as possible. Right, that's all we have time for this week. Be back later on in the week to have a look to next weekend's games, have a look back at the two Conti Cup games that are coming up in midweek, and any other action and transfer news that happens in and around the world of women's football. Until then, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Watch one of our other videos if you've missed any before, and until next time, we'll see you soon.